You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
Hey guys, it's Charge and Hayner at Zoom the TBT. It's like we have a team near and dear to my heart. We have We Are D3's head coach and GM, Mike Rejniak, and starting power forward, DeVaughn Rucker. By the way, I just realized I didn't confirm he was starting, so I guess I just made him a starter accidentally. How you guys doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having us.
That's going to be really awkward if I screwed up and actually promoted him to the starting lineup accidentally.
He's got to earn it.
He's got to earn it. He's got to earn it.
Easy.
Yeah. Which he should be able to earn. I mean, it's not so. Mike, let's talk a little bit about this. Like, you're one of this is sort of the underdogs or lower division week. We just did D2. And again, like as a Division III grad myself, I think it's really important that people understand great basketball is played at all divisions. Can you talk a little bit about what led you to start this team in this program?
Well, yeah, I think largely like I coached Division III basketball for 15, 16 years. And during that time, I got to see and coach a lot of phenomenal basketball players, All-Americans, players of the year. And really throughout that time, you know, these are players that, in my opinion, were vastly underrated, whether coming out of high school or during their careers. And, you know, when the TBT started to come about, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, I was sitting in my basement with my fellow coach, Matt Droney, and we were watching it. And I knew after watching the type of play it was played at a high level, I knew putting together a really, like, quote unquote, Division III, almost like dream team, we could do well. And it would give them a platform to showcase their stuff. Largely, a lot of our players are grinding it out overseas. And really, I know that they can be playing at higher levels. And a lot of it is just lack of exposure or lack of knowledge of how good Division III basketball is when it's played at the highest level. So when I was tossing around the idea, you know, I made a couple calls and then it kind of snowballed from there. And now here we are 4 years later with a pretty stacked roster, in my opinion, ready to make a run. So I'm pretty excited kind of where it originated, but even to see where it's come and the support throughout the years has been pretty awesome.
Yeah, and you guys have really already started to develop a really strong brand. I love the new logo, by the way. The branding's really, really, really solid.
96 All-Stars, NBA, Chili Peppers. I love it.
Yeah, the teal and the teal dates you and me, Reg, a little bit. So, DeVaughn, we talk about basketball at the highest level, and I mean, you play for one of a program in. Well, actually, let me change that. Let me just go ahead and do that now.
Gotta show it.
Got to do it. Got to change hats today. So as a fellow Washington University grad, we know that obviously it's one of the major programs in Division III basketball. They've won titles before. You yourself were a UAA, I believe, all conference at one point, or at least a high level. Yeah, so all conference. You put up a lot of points. So can you talk a little bit about like how competitive that league is and what people's misconceptions about Division III basketball may be?
Even when I first got back here, there are kids that are just coming in this year that were, we can't cuss on here.
No, you can. You can. Fuck, you can cuss. I don't care. It's not a family program.
Cool. All right, cool. No, these some of the freshmen that came back, they were busting my ass when I came back. Like, they were amazing. And I know one of them is transferring to North Dakota State, and that just shows like the amount of talent that goes there is ridiculous. And at the same time, those dudes are high academic guys. And so it's just the best of both worlds.
Yeah, you mentioned the academic thing. So it's something that's interesting because people also don't understand that there's some really elite schools at the Division III level. The school we both went to is usually in the top 25 ratings nationally. And you have a really interesting career right now because you are doing something kind of interesting. You are playing professionally overseas in England with still pro basketball aspirations, and you're also pursuing your master's degree in mechanical engineering. Mm-hmm. So how hard is that to study your playbook and your engineering books at the same time? Is that a big time commitment?
I would say that's something that I struggled with my freshman and sophomore year, just making that transition because I wanted to maximize the competitiveness of basketball, but also find my interest in mechanical engineering. And then as time goes on, it smoothed out more. And then doing the master's, I've learned something that I wanted to do more. And so just kind of balancing it. I know that the practices are a little bit lighter in the UK, and so it'll be a little bit easier to manage.
Yeah, but it's interesting because I assume there's other leagues you might want to try to look at some point besides UK, like if you want to get on mainland Europe. So it might be something you have to balance. Is it a 2-year master's program, the school you're going to?
It's a 1 year.
Oh, it's a 1 year. So are you done already?
No.
Oh, you're
deferred.
about to. Okay, got it. Okay,
yeah.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So 1 year master's. Did you get like enough credits to make it a 1 year?
No, so basically it's a different program. Basically, it'll be a 1 year program, and then I'll spend the majority of the time doing the dissertation.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And just because it's funny too, because not only are we alums of the same school, we also have allied careers. You're going into engineering. I'm an architect. So we work on some of the same sort of things. What, just on a side note, what got you into mechanical engineering?
So both my parents are engineers. They've been doing it for years. And then my mom actually put us in the National Society of Black Engineers when I was in 4th grade. My brothers were all 2 years apart. I'm the youngest. And so just always having that exposure is something that pretty much influenced my career decision.
So, Reg, I think we're outgunned here brain-wise by a lot. I'm working in my basement, and his future is so bright, you got to get shades, and here I am just in my basement.
That's wild. That's absolutely wild.
You're gassing me up.
So just a quick question, DeVaughn. Are you better on the court or in the books? Which one are you better at? It sounds like you're great at both. Which one are you better at?
I want to say the books, but it's definitely in the court. I've been doing the court so much longer. No, it's no match.
That's a fair.
I want to say on a side note, like for me, just after watching DeVaughn throughout the years and getting to know him over the last couple months, like he is so mild mannered here on the call and just talking to him as a person and professionally, but on the court, he is like Rodman defending the ball. I love it. This is great. This is like the tale of two DeVaughns. This is great.
Yeah, there's two sides. My friends call me, what is it? Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's funny too because I saw the pictures. I'm going to the page now. I really should have had it up before I even started the interview. But I was looking, and you look mean in the photo on TBT. You look like you're going to eat your opponents. Like you look like you've done nothing. Like, you know what? I'm just going to share a screen because I want you guys to see this. This is an absurd thing. This photo is nuts. You know what? Actually, I don't even bother. I'm just going to put it in post edit. That's fine. I'll remember. I'll put a little X here that I have to do that.
The veins are probably popping out of his arms.
That's what I was going to say. Like you look like you eat weights, not that you lift them. Like you literally eat the iron.
Oh, see, no, I had no choice. My brothers would beat my ass too much. They had like 20 pounds on me easy. I was like, I got to do something.
Well,
so I'm finally.
Basketball players got to be light though. They can't be heavy. So you got the arms are. I'm gonna have to remember to put a photo up. I put a tag in the chat. Okay, so you obviously played it at WashU. Now, Mike, if memory serves, you also have a history with WashU.
Yes, I have a great history of losing to WashU in the national title game, and there's
in 2008, correct?
Yep, and there's a great picture of myself and my. You can also put this picture up. Myself, the head coach Dave Hickson, Ron Bulow, which are great mentors and friends to me, and also my buddy Kobe Altman, who's the GM of the Cavaliers currently. Mm-hmm. And we all look, myself in particular, I look like I just lost like my favorite stuffed animal when I was like 5 years old. I'm like ready to cry. I'm seeing the WashU Bears like dance all over. Thank you for bringing that up. Really.
Oh yeah, I had to. And we'll stop doing that now. We'll actually switch back. We'll talk more straight basketball now. We'll talk a little more straight basketball now. We tortured you enough, Mike. I like to bring that up mainly because I like seeing the pain in your face. It makes me feel like the avenging angel of God. Okay.
This close. Story of my life. This close.
I mean, it was a fun year for me because that was the year that WashU won the title of Division III, and my beloved Memphis Tigers almost won their one national title, which they didn't win because of Mario Chalmers. So that's always a bad thing. But enough about that. Nobody cares. Let's talk about the actual TBT. So first of all, DeVaughn, this is your first trip TBT because you're a recent alum, correct? This will be your first run. So what do you think excites you the most about playing in this tournament for the first time, besides obviously a chance to win some money?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, money is always exciting for everyone. I just honestly, I think the excitement of playing this and just seeing the different level, like I think 2 years ago, I played in the St. Louis Pro Am with a bunch of WashU guys.
Mm-hmm.
And the first few games were shaky. I was like, oh my God, like I've never done this. But as the games go on, like my confidence just grew and I just became the main option. And then that's when my mind started exploring the opportunities of just doing this. And it's something that like is easily feasible in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and Reg, first of all, this will be, I think, your third time in the event. And you have lost in the first round both times, but both times died with your boots on in very close games. Mm-hmm. What's it going to take to break through this time?
I think, it has been a learning process. I think from year one, we were trying to get in and compile a team. Year two, we got better significantly. And then we've learned a lot through both of those experiences where now not only kind of how to coach the game, because it is a little bit different game than what I'm used to, just because college versus pro, obviously, a little bit different, but more so comprising the roster and what wins. Prior to playing up at Syracuse, we had 3 players go down with injury. So we were playing shorthanded and we almost beat them. I think we had 7 dudes. Maybe, we were looking at maybe Droney and I strapping the shoes on and maybe competing a little bit, but like,
thank God it didn't come to that.
Thank God. You guys see, you can watch Droney. Don't watch me for sure. And then, but I think the depth this year, I think overall, the experience of the team and who we have and just kind of just knowing them. I feel like just where the roster is by far our best roster. It's set up to make a run, which is pretty exciting for me. I think finally we've played ourselves out of the 16th seed, which we definitely got to get out of that 16th.
So that's interesting because, I'm glad you brought that up because, like, I would agree. And I don't remember where we put you in bracketology. I know we put you around a 13 or 14, if I remember. Last time we did a bracketology. But I wonder, and this is just one of those things. I really wonder if, because remember, the styles make the fight. Like, you guys obviously are not going to be at 16 seed quality, but we've been very honest on this podcast and also with the people on TBT that this is 90% real basketball and 10% professional wrestling. You need storylines, need heels. I would say you are definitely have earned a higher than a 16 seed from your close matches and everything, but like, it wouldn't shock me if you got one just for the narrative.
It wouldn't either because, like, D3 versus Syracuse, D3 versus UCLA, we're not going to Herddat's region, but if it was, it'd be D3 versus Herddat, and then we'd have a Twitter war because we'd have to go back and forth about blah, 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 blah.
Well, you realize the one rule because no one came on this podcast, even by accident, not mention Herddat. It seems to be the trend of the year. They come up a lot.
Oh, they just like to talk about.
They're fun. They're fun.
They like to talk about that. They're like, who they are? They're like the NWO of like TBT, and like everybody's like, yo, these dudes.
No, they probably are definitely the MVP of social media because they pick fights, which is fantastic. It's good for ticket sales.
Love their Disney movie. It was great.
How'd that end? Never mind. We're into that.
I don't remember.
No, but let's not talk about that. That was horrible. So Wichita. Mm-hmm. I know originally you guys were looking at Columbus, I believe, and you changed to Wichita. What is going to be like the travel? Like, first of all, have you looked at some of the teams in the region at all? Like, I assume is there anybody like you're looking at as somebody you really are trying to scout early, like somebody you think you might end up matched up with, like a Team Arkansas or something?
I think Team Arkansas. I think Wichita. I think those are teams that we're kind of looking at. I think like when it came to us, like just because like with us with like just our roster and choosing regions, it's a lot more simplified. Like for us, D3, you play professional. We don't have to do a lot of the recruiting and TBT roster signings that a lot of the other teams have to deal with. In terms of kind of region, it doesn't matter to us
because it's a national team. You're a national team.
We're a national team. It doesn't matter. We're going to be the underdog, whatever. We have to go through teams anyways. You know, and the last couple of times we've been through, we played two of the top teams in that year's region. So, you know, it wouldn't shock me, no pun intended, if we played the Shocks. But you know, obviously, you know, we got some eyes out there, but we'll be well prepared regardless. So I'm looking forward to seeing when that shakes out and the dust settles, because then we can start preparing DeVaughn and the rest of the team just kind of mentally with kind of what to expect and things along those lines.
Yeah. DeVaughn, do you have any experience playing with anybody on the roster? Do you know any of these guys at all?
So it's funny. My freshman year, we played Ripon University. I remember Ty Saban dropped like 30 on us in a half and then 50 in the full game. And I was like, yeah, this dude is ridiculous. And just seeing his videos now and being on the same team, like even that within itself just like confirms the progress that I've made personally. And so just playing with that type of talent is just really exciting for me as well.
And then I guess talking about the team, I'm looking at the roster, and obviously it looks like a pretty strong roster as usual, because you guys, even though you're a lower division, you're picking the best of, which helps. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I forgot. I played against Daniel Rosenbaum my junior year in our Lapata tournament at WashU. He was good.
Okay.
He was good. Definitely deserved that pro.
So what, and this is a question for both of you, answer anywhere you want. What is the challenge of getting an all-star team together? Because the thing is, like, you guys have, the reason I ask this, you guys haven't played together. Like even D2 has the core of their team actually played at one school. A lot of them played for Queens under their head coach. You guys are coming from different programs with different schemes and different ways of playing. Now you all play professional, so you also all play in different things. Reg or DeVaughn, we'll start with Reg actually. How do you tailor the offense and defense to your team? Like, do you come with a set sort of things you want to do, or do you try to tailor it a little bit more to the roster you end up with, or is it a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of both. My job and Coach Roney's job, we want to let players like DeVaughn play. We got a short amount of time to work with them. You know, we do the Zoom calls and things like that, but on the court time, relatively short. But we got to keep it as simple for them where they feel comfortable, but yet there is structure that we can use as our backbone as we kind of get into the throes of the game. So it is a little balancing act. We do model a lot of it after, obviously, you know, pro stuff that we see, you know, in the Euro leagues and NBA. So it's not like a college team where like you're having to teach how to guard a ball screen and things like that. These guys know. It's more so just giving them just an outline and just saying, hey, this is what we do. This is what we're looking to accomplish, and just letting players like DeVaughn just take it and run with it.
That makes sense. And DeVaughn, like looking at this roster, obviously the talent's there, but like other divisional teams that are not at the high D1 level or pro teams, the talent's there. The one thing obviously that you might be a little short on is size. The tallest guy on the roster looks like he's 6'8", and yeah, you're playing power at 6'5", which obviously, by the shake of your arms, won't be a problem with rebounding. I don't think you're going to have a problem under the boards, despite the fact you're only 6'5". I'm not worried about you. But how can you turn that into advantage? Like, are you going to be able to play more 5 out and really sort of like switch a lot on offense? Is it going to be a post light 5 out kind of offense? Like, how do you guys plan on attacking and using this lack of size to your advantage with added speed?
I think in past conversations with the coach, we talked about just our game plan with switching everything. I think with putting the roster together, he was looking for that versatility, and I think that everyone on the roster fits that.
Yeah. I mean, look at his roster. There's a lot of switchable players. Like, no one who's from a what do you call it, a coaching standpoint watches the show, I assume. So you're not really telling about a term, but like you're probably, because of the nature of your roster, going to be switching a lot, I assume. I think it's going to be a pretty basic thing, right?
Well, I think just with the whole versatility aspect, that's what I've seen wins TBT.
Yeah.
And it just kind of caters to who we are. Like at Division III, you're not going to see, you know, outside of maybe one player I can think of in the last like 20 years, a 7-footer that is just dominant. You're not going to see that. You know, if you're playing Division III basketball and you're 7 foot, then there's something going on. You can maybe have trouble walking and chewing gum.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like,
DeVaugh's probably played against some of those guys.
No, that's 100%. He's not wrong.
Naturally, so like, you know, that style of what TBT is, it's very up and down.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you know, necessarily, you know, an ISO and post. So like that caters to who we are. In terms of an inch or two, it doesn't really bother us.
No.
You know, it never has in the past. Like we out-rebounded UCLA, we out-rebounded Syracuse, so it really doesn't matter. It's more so of kind of just the versatility of the team and, you know, not kind of going one way or the other way.
Yeah. Inch or twos really shouldn't bother you at all. So the flexibility on offense, the flexibility on defense, obviously. I guess the key thing then is like the major mission of this team is obviously to try to win the whole thing. That's everybody's mission who has a credible team. But like, have you, and maybe this is more for Mike to start, have you started to make headway in people realizing that Division III is like really high level basketball? Like have people started to see this team and realize what they're capable of?
I think so. I think so. I think largely it started happening, you know, after the first year, and then we're starting to get steam. I think largely a lot of the for lack of a better term, performances that players like DeVaughn, Ty Sabin, Ty Nichols, Eric Demers, you know, the list goes on, DeQuan Brooks that have done, you know, they're continuing to showcase their skill set and talents, and people are starting to become more and more aware of that. And just like DeVaughn said, like kind of with his teammates, like now all of a sudden, you know, maybe 5-10 years ago, this wouldn't be the case, but the top players at Division III are now almost like feeders to Division I's. And we're starting to see more of that, kind of that transfer portal stuff. So I think just overall, you know, obviously, you know, we're not the ones just only trying to bring awareness, but I think it's starting to kind of come around a little bit. We still got obviously a really long way to go, but I just think just overall, as long as the division continues and the coaches and schools continue to recruit great student athletes like DeVaughn and the rest of my roster, it's going to continue to flourish.
Absolutely. And DeVaughn, I assume that you're able to use, like when you're playing professionally overseas, do people ask you where you play and you say Division III, do you get looks or do they not understand what that means? Or do you use that as fuel to continue your career and give motivation to yourself?
Well, I mean, obviously that school is known more for its academics, and those within the world know it as well. But outside of it, obviously doesn't get that same respect. But that doesn't really deter me or make me feel some type of way in any sense. Because I feel like at that same point, even with the fact that we're here, the fact that we know the talent that's there, and then it's only a matter of time before everyone recognizes it well.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I think it's a good place to leave it. Everybody's going to remember how good you guys are. Maybe you'll break through this year. I'm really hoping you will. I kind of wish you were going to Charleston so we get to watch it in person. But we'll see you guys in 2022 for sure, too, as well. So, guys, Mike, DeVaughn, thanks for coming on. This has been ZoomTheTBT with D3.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for your time, Andrew.
Hope you enjoyed listening to ZoomTheTBT with Charge and Hainer. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.